Welcome to this place called Earth and the project Somatic Inversions, Behavioural Manipulations. In this short, The Freeze Trap, Why Losing Your Voice Makes You Vulnerable to Control, we explore and expose the mechanisms that shape behaviour beneath awareness. The moment your voice disappears. There is a moment in manipulation that almost no one talks about, a moment where your throat tightens, your words disappear, and your voice becomes something you can feel but cannot access. People think silence is a choice, that you didn't speak because you didn't want to, that you froze because you were indecisive. But the truth sits deeper. Freeze is not indecision. Freeze is immobilisation. Freeze is the body protecting you in the only way it knows how. When your voice leaves you, it is not psychological failure. It is a survival reflex. The nervous system that goes offline. Research from trauma theorists such as Stephen Porges, Judith Herman, and Bessel van der Kolk shows that when the nervous system perceives danger, not rationally, but somatically, the body drops into dorsal vagal shutdown, a collapsed state where speech becomes difficult, thinking becomes foggy, boundaries dissolve, compliance rises, and self-expression disappears. You can't speak clearly because your body is choosing safety over articulation. Freeze isn't a weakness. It is not a failure. It's not being socially awkward. It's biology. The argument where your voice vanished, most people know the moment well. You were in a heated conversation. Their tone shifted. Their energy pressed into the room. Your heart rate changed, but your throat closed even faster. You wanted to say, "Stop, that's not true. You're hurting me," or "I don't agree." But the words never came out. Survivors of emotional and domestic abuse often describe it this way. I knew exactly what I wanted to say, but I physically couldn't do it. This wasn't fear of conflict. It was somatic immobilization, your voice becoming unreachable under threat. The family that trained you to freeze responses often originate long before adult relationships. Children raised in environments where anger was unpredictable, emotional safety was inconsistent, and parents used silence as punishment. The conflict led to withdrawal. Affection was conditional. Learn early that speaking up is dangerous. This becomes an autonomic imprint. The adult freeze response is not born in adulthood, it is reenacted. You are not freezing in the present. You are freezing from memory. Groups and institutions that silence through fear high control groups, cults, and authoritarian institutions understand the freeze trap instinctively. By creating an atmosphere of scrutiny, shame, public correction, unpredictable punishment, and emotional intimidation, they induce chronic dorsal collapse. This is why members rarely speak up. Not because they agree, but because freeze becomes the primary survival strategy. In organizations like NXIVM, Jonestown, and certain corporate cultures, former members consistently report, "I lost my ability to speak for myself. They didn't lose it, it was suppressed." Collective freeze. When nations fall silent, entire populations can enter freeze states under authoritarian governments, propaganda campaigns, moral panic, constant crisis, and prolonged social threat. Citizens speak vaguely, cautiously, or not at all. It isn't apathy, it isn't politeness. It's collective dorsal vagal shutdown. A society too threatened to articulate itself. History shows this pattern in the early years of fascist regimes, McCarthy-era America, Soviet-era silence, and modern digital fear cycles. The nervous system of the collective contracts when speaking becomes risky. We are witnessing it every day through podcasts, news broadcasts, and conversations among friends. People will police, correct, and silence their own voices, not in a literal sense of being quiet, compared to the previous examples. But they'll vocalize their unease to speak freely, using such phrases as, "I know I shouldn't say this, but this may offend some people," or "you can't say that." Freeze makes manipulation easier. When your voice disappears, your boundaries weaken, your perception fogs, your ability to challenge diminishes, your intuition gets doubted, your autonomy collapses, and your silence is misinterpreted as consent. Manipulators rely on this. They push until you freeze. And once you freeze, they push further. Not because they overpower your mind, but because they overwhelm your physiology, the inversion. So, to close this short, we were taught, speak up, be assertive, use your voice. Don't let people walk over you, and stand your ground. But the inversion is this. Freeze steals your voice before the moment even arrives. You don't lose your words because you're weak. You lose them because your body is protecting you. Manipulators don't silence your mind. They silence your nervous system. Freeze isn't failure. It is self-preservation. And once you understand that, you stop blaming yourself for the silence that saved you.